Hi, my name is Phil Clam. I'm the district administrator at Walworth Joint School District number 1. Thank you for taking the time to watch this presentation. I'm excited to share with you some information on the upcoming referendum that'll be held on April 2nd, 2024. Let's get started with a state of the district. On the state report card, Walworth meets expectations. Our score increased in the past year by 3.1 points from 63.9 to 67. Regarding open enrollment history over the last 7 years, we have flipped from a net negative 54 students to a net positive 22 students. It's a change of 76. On staffing history, over the last 8 years, we've reduced our staff by over 20 positions. Let's take a look at school funding in Wisconsin. This slide is provided by the Wisconsin Association of School Business Officials and takes data from the Legislative Fiscal Bureau. The slide says that general school district revenues per pupil lag inflation by more than $3,300 since 2009. So before 2009, school funding was tied to inflation. That stopped. So the blue line is school funding, and the gray line is school funding if it would have been tied to inflation. And you can see that the gap just keeps growing. And this gap is why many school districts in the state are having to go to operational referendum. Let's watch a short video.
Our public schools are the cornerstone of our community. The education and opportunities we provide for students today shape their futures and ours. Schools, like any organization, need money to operate, but in Wisconsin, funding the needs of our schools has been a growing challenge. State policy limits how much school districts can spend. The vast majority of school funding comes from a combination of state dollars and local property taxes. It's called the revenue limit, and it acts as a cap per student that school districts can spend each year. Even if school costs go above this level, schools can't spend any more than this limit. From 1994 to 2009, these revenue caps were adjusted for inflation, which meant they helped schools keep up with ongoing needs. But since 2010, the resources districts need to survive have fallen farther and farther behind the basic costs to operate our schools. By the end of 2025, the revenue limit will have fallen more than $3,300 per student behind inflation. With a district of 1,000 students, that's a decrease of more than $3 million. What's more, each district has a different revenue cap, and these caps are not tied to the needs of the students or the costs to the schools that serve them. Our job as a school district is to make sure all of our students have access to the exceptional educational opportunities we provide, no matter what their needs when they walk through our doors. But state funding falls short of what it costs to meet the specific needs of many of our students. When that happens, we have to use money from our general fund to cover the difference, which means taking dollars from other important needs. The largest portion of our budget goes towards staffing. Our people are the heart of our schools. Without enough educators who instruct, support, and inspire learning, schools can't provide the lessons, programs, and opportunities our students deserve. Other important budget items include curriculum, technology, transportation, operations, and maintenance. School districts work hard to balance their budgets, yet resources for schools have been shrinking year after year since 2010. With costs growing so much faster than funding, districts are always looking for ways to trim costs and work smarter, like deferring needed school maintenance, cutting programs, reducing staff, and many other strategies. But schools can only cut so much before they start to harm educational opportunities for their students. To maintain class sizes, keep up with rising costs, take care of school buildings, and protect high-quality instruction, many districts have turned to their community to help fill the state-imposed funding gap. Since the arrival of revenue limits, over 80% of school districts have done so by asking local voters to raise their caps through an operating referendum. Most have used the option multiple times. Our children don't have time to wait for state policymakers to fix the school funding system. By putting the needs of our students first, we are investing in their potential and the future of our whole community. Strong schools make strong communities where families want to move and stay. Learn more about school finance in Wisconsin by visiting our websites.
So, our district needs more money for safety improvements, more student access to educational staff, so that we can provide the education the community has asked for. Let's talk about school safety. The original part of the building was built in 1902. The district still uses some of the original classroom doors. Multiple school safety experts agree that these 100-plus-year-old classroom doors are not safe, calling them vulnerable and inadequate. The WSSCA School Security Assessment, dated June of 2023, says these are still old doors that are vulnerable. Let's take another look at a video. Hey, Walworth, let's talk about school safety. These doors are from 1902. Things were different in 1902. Here's the original building contract for $9,000. Our baseball team, basketball team. Safety experts agree that these doors are not safe. They call them inadequate and vulnerable. No one wants our students to be vulnerable. The school district is seeking your support to improve school safety and increase student access to educational staff to provide the education the community has asked for. Please vote on April 2nd, 2024. Hey, Walworth. The safety importance of school doors cannot be overstated. A few years ago, it was best practice to have the main entrance door covered in a security film. Due to recent events, it is now best practice to have all of our exterior doors covered in that security film. In school safety, we talk about delay, delay, delay. Every second matters. The exterior doors delay the crisis from coming into the school, and the interior doors delay the crisis from coming inside of the classroom. Every second matters when it comes to school safety. Other safety needs include crumbling surfaces and a safer playground. This picture is from the driveway and parking lot. If you've ever entered the school parking lot from the side with the two gas stations, you know that it is crumbling and unsafe. Nobody wants to take their car in that way, and the buses have to leave or have to go that way twice each day. This is our crumbling sidewalks. Our sidewalks are in disrepair all the way around the school, and it is unsafe. These need to be repaired immediately. If you're familiar with our playground, there's an exterior edge that holds the mulch in. This is well past its usable time. You can see here that it's cracked, it's falling apart, the stakes come out. Over the years, we continue to replace them, but it is well past its usable years. What we need to do is we need to dig up the outside edge, pull out this, put in a new one, and then backfill with mulch. To be clear, we're not asking for a new playground. We just want our existing one to be more safe. Let's talk about staff. This is a picture of the teaching staff in 2015. There are 49.5 teaching positions represented here. These are all of the positions that have been eliminated since 2015-16. This is our current teaching staff. 2015-16, there were 49.5 teachers. 2023-24, there are 33 teachers. That is a reduction of 16.5 teachers, or 33%. Here's a postcard that was sent to our families and to the residents in the district. The key word here is reduced. In 2023, there was a referendum request for $1.4 million in 2023-24, $1.6 million in 2024-25, and $1.8 million in 2025-26. That referendum did not pass. When considering what to do next, the school board considered what the district needed and what they thought the community would support. The 2024 referendum request is $990,000 per year for 4 years. When you compare this request to these requests, you can see that each year is significantly reduced. And when you add up the total 2023 referendum request and compare it to the total 2024 referendum request, you will see that it is dramatically reduced by over $800,000. Let's take a look at what the district's projections are if the referendum passes, and then we'll look at what the projections are if it does not pass. First, projections of if the referendum passes. In 2024-25, there would be $990,000 additional dollars. There is a projected budget shortfall of $360,000, so that comes right off the top. The district is projecting to spend $250,000 on safety improvements and $380,000 to increase student access to educational staff. We are projecting that would add 3 teachers back to our teaching staff and also allow us to add some support staff as well. In 25-26, you'll see the same $990,000. There's a projected budget shortfall of $520,000, $70,000 in safety improvements, and then this is the same staff that we just talked about, just adjusted for inflation. And at 26-27, you can see again the same $990,000, the projected budget shortfall of $650,000, safety improvements of $20,000, and again, educational staffing, the same staff from the first slide, just adjusted for inflation. And in 27-28, again, $990,000. There's a projected budget shortfall of $740,000. There is no money left for safety improvements. The educational staff adjusted for inflation. And you can see that in the final year of the referendum, the district is projecting a deficit of $190,000. Let's take a look at what the projections are if the referendum does not pass. 2024-25, the projected revenue is $6.31 million. The projected expenses are $6.67 million, which gives us a budget shortfall of $360,000. The district is actively working to save money this year to alleviate that shortfall in 24-25. We are doing everything we can, every nickel, dime, penny, quarter, everything we can to just not spend any money this year in case this referendum doesn't pass, because we cannot reduce any more staff. We don't have enough teachers and staff right now as it is. We certainly can't reduce any more. 25-26, that's not an option any longer. You can see the projected revenue is $6.36 million. The projected expenses are $6.88 million for a shortfall of $520,000. That year, the district would need to reduce an additional 4 full-time teachers and 2 full-time staff to account for that shortfall. 26-27, projected revenue $6.44 million, projected expenses $7.09 million for a projected budget shortfall of $650,000. The district would need to reduce an additional 2 full-time teachers and an additional half-time staff to account for that shortfall. And in 27-28, the final year of the referendum, projected revenue $6.56 million, projected expenses $7.3 million for a projected budget shortfall of $740,000. The district would need to reduce an additional full-time teacher and an additional half-time staff to account for that shortfall. So the district is projecting that without a referendum, it would need to reduce 7 more teachers by 2027-28. There are not 7 teachers to reduce. We don't have enough teachers this year. So from 49.5 in 2015-16 to 33 this year, 23-24, to potentially 26. Let's watch another video. Hey, Walworth, let's talk about school staff. Since 2015-16, our teaching staff has been reduced by 33%. That is 16.5 teaching positions eliminated in the past 8 years. Let's take a closer look. Since 2019-20, 7.5 teaching positions have been reduced, while student enrollment has increased. The district is projecting that without a referendum, it will need to reduce 7 more teachers by 2027-28. The school district is seeking your support to improve school safety and increase student access to educational staff to provide the education our community has asked for. Please vote on April 2nd, 2024. All right, so the school district is seeking support for school safety and student access to educational staff. The 2024 referendum request is an estimated school tax rate increase of $1.54 per $1,000 of property value. So for a $100,000 house, it would be an increase of $154 per year. Let's take a look at the historical school tax in Walworth. The 40-year average is $7. Sorry about that. The 40-year average is $7.32. The 10-year average is $5.74, and then currently it's $4.02. So if the referendum passes, its projection is to move to $5.56. You can see that this rate is below the 10-year average, significantly below the 40-year average, and is expected to decline over time. Did you know that since 2019, Walworth school funding has been lower than over 400 other school districts in Wisconsin? This data is called revenue limit per pupil and is available on DPI's website. Let's take a look. Walworth is among the lowest in the state for funding. 2023-24, Walworth is 410th out of 421 school districts. 22-23, 421st out of 421. 21-22, 420th out of 420. 2021, 419th out of 419. In 2019-2020, we were 419th out of 420th. Walworth is among the lowest in the state for funding. So, did you know that Walworth receives far less money than other local districts? This data is called comparative revenue per member. This is a 4-year average, and the data is available on the DPI website. Walworth is at $15,416, Bigfoot $20,872, Sharon $21,118, Reek $23,718, and Fontana $27,297. Walworth receives far less money than other local districts. So let's talk about the impact on students. First and foremost, school needs to be safe. The 100-plus-year-old classroom doors need to be replaced, and the exterior entrances need the security film. Our asphalt and cement need to be fixed so that it's safe, and the playground needs to be fixed. The outside edge needs to be replaced so that the playground is more safe as well. Students need more access to educational staff so that they can grow academically for their future and for ours. Let's take a look at a referendum checklist. So, thank you so much for getting information today via this video. There have been numerous presentations and postcards sent as well, so hopefully you're able to get that information. Please ask questions and get answers. The referendum hotline is 262-394-2010, or you can send me an email at phil.clam@walworth.k12.wi.us. Has the district cut as many costs as possible? Yes. Are the district's needs serious? School safety and educational staff? Yes. Please vote April 2nd, 2024.